Goodness me. 2 seconds, folks. I've had a disaster. There we go. Well, there we go. Hello everyone and welcome along to the penultimate round of the ULC Championship here on PlayStation 4. We are live from Interlagos in Brazil. And yes, we have got a championship battle hotting up between the Dutch and the Spanish. Alongside me tonight, we have Ollie. Ollie, what way do you see it going today as the rain begins to fall here in qualifying?
Yeah, I was hoping for some rain when I looked at this. Obviously, it's one of them tracks where historically we've always enjoyed some rainy races. You know, 2016 was a typical one where it's absolutely intense, and this is really going to test the drivers. I would say, though, after last week, Flores, bottling it, and rightfully so, you know, being very angry with himself. I think he might have just thrown this away, but if he does come from this comeback of 23 points, it could well go down as one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in league racing history.
Well, we have seen in recent years in real life Formula 1 championships swing like a pendulum here in Sao Paulo, once winning a title with a dramatic final corner manoeuvre on Timor Glock. So let's try and give all the viewers a little bit of an insight to those standings as we go into this World Championship, the round 9 of the championship. It is officially round 10, but we have yet to go to Bahrain due to PSN issues earlier on in the season. So Bahrain will be the final round. This is the penultimate round, and at the moment it is SML on top of the standings. They have got 183 points. The Spaniards, usually you have with Carey and Marchetti, but of late it's been Cosmic alongside Carey. They have 183 points, 43 points clear of the race stars guys from Netherlands. The guys from the Netherlands, that's Flores and Counter-Strike, and 43 points in it. That of course is a 1-2 in Formula 1. 25 points plus 18 is of course 43 points. So those two, 43 points in it. Believe it or not, ILR are still kind of in the title fight. They're 60 points back on 123, but their hopes of winning the title are very, very slim. Then it's SLR in third, Straight Line Racing, that's Technica, and Friday Thompson in fourth place in the standings. Then it's SRL, Supreme Racing League, Matt Meerkat and Skiing. UPL are 6th in the standings, and 7th position is TGP, are no longer with us. IAF also no longer with us, I don't believe, if they're not here tonight, that's for sure. PSGL, and 10th is ARC. But we do of course have a new team in the World Championship, and they joined last week of course, Ollie, didn't they? And they've been running well. The GP1 lads, GP1 Hamilton, and of course F1 Roadrunner. They'll be looking to try and score a few more points this week, won't they?
Yeah, they'll be happy to have got points on the board. You know, it's one of them things, you know, to get them points nice and early is going to be a tough one to do. Quickly side note, in qualifying, a minute ago Counter-Strike lost control. These dry tyres on this slippery surface are going to be crucial. So these first set of times might actually be the most vital times they set. Kari currently pole, Flores second. That could be how the grid lines up going into this race. So what we might have is a 1-2 between the two championship contenders, and that could get really, really spicy later on. But yeah, going back to the GP1 guys, you know, they've done a good job to get points. You know, it's not the most sizable grids. Obviously, we've had numbers drop out due to the games issues and so on. But they've done a really good job to get them points. It didn't look like they had too much pace at Australia, but with these changeable conditions here at Brazil, they'll be trying to pick up some more points. They have jumped a few teams in the Constructors' Championship, but nothing really special at the moment. But yeah, as you mentioned, you know, new boys, they've got to try and get their foot in the door, and it's a great way to do so. Yeah,
hopefully next season they can try and push on as we go into season 2 in a few, not in the not too distant future. But yeah, as you say, I didn't even notice that, by the way. I was too busy trying to fix my mic and look at the standings. But these guys are out there on super soft tyres, and as you said, Ollie, it looks to me like the best of the conditions might have passed already, and we might have one of the strangest qualifying sessions ever where we can decide to pull without even reaching the halfway stage. It looks like Carey, with that 173, might be staying at the top. Flores has gone second quickest, 3.5 tenths, or nearly 4 tenths shy of him. Frandy Thompson, 2.3 off him in third. Then F1 Roadrunner in fourth, and GP1 Hamilton in fifth. That could be a dream qualifying session for those two Ferraris, couldn't it, Ollie? As we were just talking about, debutants last week, and now find themselves at the sharp end, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, you know, you've got to give them credit where it's due. It's one of the GP1 Hamilton's gone wide there. I think they've struck lucky. Counter-Strike is going to be one who's disappointed. It's their 10th here, getting really wavy out there, doing a Roman Grosjean style drift around the long left-hander. Everyone's now starting to file into the pits, and we see we've got guys like Counter-Strike, Stocky, Cosmic, Technica and Ace of Pace, and who haven't set laps. Technica has come out onto track, and so has Ace of Pace on the intermediate tyres. Now, you'd look at the times, and on inters, you'd imagine they could be able to beat 10th, and maybe Shamasi. I can't see them losing out nearly 10 seconds on the intermediates on a lap. So maybe 6th place is up for grabs still. I think 5th place is too far. So these guys can still do okay, but you know, I think they've left it way too late.
Yeah, they need to
I think
hurry
they've
up.
really left it. I can't see it drying up.
No, I can't see it drying up. Certainly looking at the sky from the commentary box window, it is getting darker and darker here. So maybe Technica might have a chance, as you say, to climb up to maybe 4th position, possibly up to F1 Roadrunner. Could he maybe do a 123 or something like that? 120, sorry, 121 it would need to be actually. So let's keep an eye on Technica as he starts a flying lap, the first man to start one on the intermediate compound. So Technica through the Senna S, very gingerly, very slowly, as the track continues to get saturated. And look at that, through turn 3 we had a massive series of accidents back in 2003 going through that third corner. Several cars crashing out there in that incredible race in Brazil all those years ago, some 15 years ago now. That makes me feel quite old, and I'm only 21 as Technica now climbs the hill, goes through that first sector, now into this long sweeping right-hander. Definitely a lot slower than you would be in the dry, and he coasts into this middle part of the lap, which is you get a little bit of deja vu here, Ollie, don't you? You sweep down the hill, right-hander, then left, and then up the hill again for another right-hander, then downhill sweeping left. It's similar corners, isn't it, for this little sequence?
Yeah, I can remember when I was a kid playing on these, on F1 2010 back in the day. I remember playing on it and thinking I'd done it twice, and there was a glitch in the game. My narrow mind back then didn't really realise that you could have similar corners. But yeah, I'm just kept an eye on his times there. A 19.8 in the first sector is actually only a few tenths off Randy Thompson. So if he's like losing that sort of time throughout the lap, it could be an okay one as he comes across the line. Now let's see where he can go.
He could go 4th. Here we go. Technica, he does go. Has he got it invalidated? He must have.
Been invalidated.
And that was the worst possible thing Technica could have done there. Get a lap invalidated. The track's only going to get worse. And now Ace of Pace. What about him? Can he get the lap complete without invalidating it and maybe pop the car up into maybe 4th position? Oh, he might even go quicker than that. 3rd position. Oh wow! Beats Randy Thompson by 3 tenths and spares his blushes. Well, there you go. And that might be a bit of a dampener for F1 Roadrunner and GP1 Hamilton. They might have thought they had just sealed a 4th and 5th on the grid. Unfortunately, their times weren't quick enough as Cosmic now goes 3rd quickest and gives himself a rear gunner in that little battle with the Dutch and the Spanish out front. Now Counter-Strike gives Flores a rear gunner by going 4th quickest. So there you go. There is time out there to put the car in perhaps 3rd position, but the top 2, they're not going to be touched now, Ollie, aren't they not? They're long gone off. They might as well park up and stay there.
Yeah, if I was, I wouldn't. But they're actually coming out. Flores has come out. So, what, in fact, you'd say that, but I would imagine if it's rainy conditions in the race, which it could well be, we haven't got the telemetry, sadly, to know what it is. But, if he was going out on a limb, there would be a very high chance it could rain the race. And this is great practice. The other guys will go out and practice on the intermediates, and they need to get some practice in. But then again, it's very risky, because if you do crash, you might get a drop on, you might damage the gearbox or something there. As car, he goes a little bit wide, almost hitting the wall. It's very dangerous there. But yeah, if you get a damaged gearbox, that's a grid drop, and that could be your qualifying place gone. So, you've got to be careful in these situations. Flores coming through now. I don't think he'll be sitting a lap. These probably just bank a lap, no competitive time, just to see if he can get a good feeling down there. So, 10th is time at the moment, which is on the drier compound tyres, is currently slowest. With Shamasi in the disappointing 11th, he's just started a lap. He'll be trying to improve upon that. But GP1 Hamilton and Roadrunner have gone from one of the best possible qualifyings to pretty much where they expected to be. You'd imagine Shamasi in 10th here can improve, so it might be a back row lockout for the 2 Ferrari boys.
Yeah, heartache for those 2 as they were probably getting a lot of excitement bubbling down in the Ferrari garage. They were certain they were going to be up at the sharp end in only their 2nd ever race, but unfortunately it's not the case for the GP1 lads. They've dropped back down into standard territory. But I have to agree with what you said a moment ago, Ollie. The only logical explanation for Carey going out there on the intermediate tyre is that we might have a damp race. I mean, why else would you do it? So he and Flores have both decided to come out. They're going to cement 1st and 2nd. There's no way this is going to dry up. It's absolutely teeming down outside my commentary box window. A lot of the fans taking shelter in the grandstands that do have shelter, and the ones that don't, they've got the umbrellas up, they've got the ponchos on, and they're going to have to stick at it for the next few minutes of qualifying and possibly for the race tomorrow, going by the fact that these guys are out there trying to put some laps in. So at the moment, Cosmic is third, and he's done superb to go only 7 and a bit tenths away. That's incredible, isn't it? 7 and a bit tenths away on intermediate tyres from those guys on super softs. That's magnificent. Absolutely incredible.
Note there, Stocky has just split Counter-Strike from the top 3 there. So he's done a really good job on the intermediate tyres as well.
He has, but can Counter-Strike counter that? It looks like he can, with his own Counter-Strike up to the line, and he does. Goes 4th quickest himself, and it displaces Stocky back down. So maybe the track isn't really getting much worse, because there's more cars out there running on the surface. A lot of cars have chosen to retire from the session. Ace of Pace on an outlap, Roadrunner in the pits, GP1 Hamilton in the pits at the moment. They've managed to go, so GP1 Hamilton out there, Roadrunner in the pits. They've managed to go a little bit quicker, the GP1 lads, but not at the moment getting up to the dizzy heights of 4th and 5th, but we'll keep an eye. 10th here, currently 12th quickest. Here we go, coming out the final corner is GP1 Hamilton finishing his lap. I think he is, so we'll keep an eye on him. He's half a second up on his current best. GP1 Hamilton for the line, 2.7 off the pole. He moves up to a respectable 7th. A very respectable 7th for him. What about 10th here? Oh, it must have been invalidated. 20.9, and it was invalidated, so we'll keep an eye on 10th. Can he try and join his UPL teammate Stocky in the top 5? Here we go then. Through turn 3 goes 10th here, the back end sliding like crazy. And a lot of tail happiness on that McLaren, and not really enjoying himself out there at all, is he? 9.3 off the pace, and dare I say it, outside 107%. Surprisingly, it's Shimasi, 6.6 off, chose not to go out there and do a lap. Why was that? Very strange. Maybe he thought those conditions were too bad to improve his time. That's certainly not the case though. 6.6 off the pace. Could have went out there and easily went to the top 5 or 6, couldn't he, Ollie?
Yeah, easy. I'm a bit surprised there. Ace of Pacer was retired. He was on a hot lap there, so he might have made a mistake. He's now pulled off to one side, which now means 10th Fear is realistically the only guy who's going to make any hayway through this grid at the moment there. So, you know, we're going to keep mentioning it. The top 2 are the 2 championship contenders. You can't really write this sort of stuff, and let's hope there is rain, because it can cause some real drama. Just imagine if Kari lost control, Flores won, and we go into the finale with a 2-point championship gap. You know, that would be a real barnstormer. You know, that's a very long shot there, but now coming across the line 10th here. Now he'll go and take that nice line into the corner. Can he improve? He moves up to P10, moving Shimasi into last position. Now at the start of the season, we was heavily tipping Shimasi to do good things, and I think this might go down as one of his worst qualifying sessions he's ever taken part in.
Yeah, 6.6 off the pace. It's not often you see Shimasi that slow, and that rounds off the qualifying session. A bit of a damp squid, if you pardon the pun. I mean, it was all set up for a good session in the damp conditions, but unfortunately the rain came right away. The best laps came at the start of the session, and Kari and Flores cemented their places at the top. So that rounds off the Brazilian Grand Prix qualifying session. Kari delivers nice and early with a 1:17.3 to strengthen the Spaniards' grip on the world title. Flores second in the Sauber for race stars, and Cosmic backing up his teammate with that 3rd position in the Williams. Then Counter-Strike backing up his teammate Flores with 4th. A good run for Stocky in the UPL for 5th. 6th for Ace of Pace, GP1 Hamilton was 7th. For Andy Thompson in 8th. Roadrunner 9th, and 10th here rounds out the top 10. Well, we go on now to race day here in the ULC. Is this the day, Ollie, where the world for the Spaniards around from the finish? Obviously, as neutrals, we're not supposed to be biased. We are neutrals, but we want the championship to go to the wire, don't we? That's what you want in the first ever season on PS4.
Yeah, of course we do. You know, I was a little bit gutted last week when I saw Forrest turn and lose control of the rear end, because it just a little part of me felt a little bit disappointed. As we mentioned earlier about Flores and Kari coming out on track, it was because of the weather conditions. It is raining here. We don't know how heavy and how long it will be for. It looks intermediate conditions at the moment. It might go into some dries, which would really cause some interesting drama, especially if the likes of Flores and Kari are behind their teammates at latter stages of this race. And also potentially if we go on to wet tyres, there's going to be some strategic calls to see who gets it right.
Yep, it's going to be a cracker, and yep, the rain has arrived once again here on race day. It's the penultimate round of the championship. Will we crown a champion today? Lights out, and away we go. It's Carey from Paul. Flores alongside as they run towards turn 1. Carey gets the ideal start as they go into turn 1, and he easily takes the lead. Flores second with Cosmic nipping in his heels. Then his counter strike in fourth, and now look at Stocky up the inside as the Spaniards and the Dutch collide in third and fourth, allowing Stocky and Frandy to take third and fourth. It's as you out front, and now look at Flores right in the slipstream behind Carey as he approaches turn 4, and he's up the inside. He's making a move, and he goes through. Slight contact between them, and Flores sweeps ahead of Carey up into the lead of the race. Now that looked a little bit questionable. Oh, we got a McLaren in the background. I think that was Tim Fear in the wall, and he's been in incidents throughout the season, hasn't he, Ollie?
Oh, Ferrari's lost control.
Oh, is that?
Ferrari's has lost control going up the hill. It was F1 Roadrunner. He's gone off the track on the left-hand side. You'll see there's just a little bit of white line. He's got caught on there on the grass, and he's lost the rear end, and he's now down into last position. Yep,
so one for Roadrunner, but Flores diving up the inside of Carey. He sort of kind of hesitated, went up the inside. Carey opened the door.
Flores is all over the place.
Yeah, he is all over the place, but he holds his advantage still, and that gives Carey a chance to bite back. Has any damage there? No. They made contact, but there was no damage. It was tyre to tyre as Frandy Thompson retires. What's happened to him? Oh, that's a huge accident. But what about the battle at the front? Frandy Thompson, an early exit from the Grand Prix. Both front tyres ripped clean from the chassis. So Frandy Thompson out of the Grand Prix. We're down to 11 runners already. But Flores with that crucial move up the inside at turn 4 on Carey. He hesitated, he dived for the inside. Then Carey sort of opened the door and they banged wheels, and Carey forced off the track. The Spanish will not be happy with that one. Will it go to the stewards? I'm not sure. It was certainly not clean cut. But Flores nonetheless dives through in typical Flores style, and we've seen that so many times this season, haven't we, Ollie? He dives for it, he goes for it, and regardless of the consequences, he continues on his way.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm really glad he got his elbows out there, because off the start it looked like it could have been a boring one, but Flores got his elbows out. He went for the gap, to be fair to him. You know, Carey, I'll be honest with you, looking on board with Flores on that battle, he did give him the opportunity, you know, he opened up the gap, he said, you know, there's the space if you want it, and Flores rightfully so took the space. They're going side by side, he's run out of track. I don't think it was on purpose, I don't think it's a steward inquiry. I think Carey's given as good as he's got in previous races. Flores is always going to take that opportunity. They're in a championship battle, you know, a little bit of argy-bargy, we all like to see that. We don't want it all to be clean cut, you know. So, you know, it's interesting as well. More importantly though, I think, is the fact that Stocky has moved up to third, which means now that Cosmic has counter-strike all over the rear end of him, and it means that it's just a straight fight between the top two. You know, there's no teammates at play like last week we saw in the USA. As now Carey's all over the rear end of Flores. He's going to go for a move at the inside race a little bit later. A little lock up on the front left there, but he's not gone for it this early on. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, that gap and that splitting means now that it's just them two going at it, and whoever counts out on top of these two between Counter-Strike and Cosmic could later on in the race actually have a real big impact and effect on who wins this race and how the championship goes down in possibly the final race.
Yeah, it sure will, and as you say, Flores, he had to go for it. I mean, a World Championship battle, if Carey leaves a gap like that with Flores behind him, he's going to find a Sauber alongside him, and Flores up the inside, through he went. Carey, whether he found it rude or not, finds himself behind in second place, and now he has to work his way back onto the tail of Flores and make a move. Now, this Brazilian Grand Prix circuit does allow overtaking into turn 1, and of course where we see Flores make his move, turn 4, but in damp conditions, it's a lot more tricky. You don't have DRS to help you. And you find quite often on the F1 game, and on F1 2017 in particular, overtaking can be difficult without DRS in damp conditions, unless the car in front makes a mistake. So Flores, he knew that. He made the move down. Carey tries to return the favour down at the bottom of the hill, and he has a little nibble up the inside, but Flores is having none of that and holds on to his lead as they go up the hill across the line. And now look at Stocky fancying his chances of getting involved. We all of a sudden have a 3-car fight for the lead. 3 different teams battling at the front. Flores feels the need to go defensive into turn 1. Carey tries the outside line into the centre S. Oh, a little slide, and he cannot get himself alongside, and now that allows Stocky to get himself involved, and Stocky closes in now. The UPL all of a sudden getting themselves involved at the sharp end of the field. He slipstreams Carey. Carey 1 minute attacking Flores, next minute defending from the UPL driver, and it stays as they were. Flores leading, Carey second, Stocky third. Some good action there, Ollie.
Yeah, this is fantastic. You know, everyone's side by side. They're all very close to each other. You know, no car ahead is actually pulled away at the moment. Ace of Pace is not even that far, and Shimasi's right on the rear end of him. And if you look at the times and individually, they're all within a couple of tenths. So if DRS was active, there would be absolute trains of cars. This is great to see, but no one's gone for that crucial move. We saw Kari look about it and maybe possibly go for it, but Flores had him covered. I do think, though, what's going to happen, now this is just a lonely prediction, and it probably won't happen, but I reckon what's going to happen is Kari can go for a move on Flores. Flores will defend tight and very hard, and Kari will lose momentum, lose grip, and Stocky is going to move up and potentially lead the race at some point here, because these two are going to scrap like no other. They've got a championship on the line. As Flores said, almost gets a little bit wayward there and almost loses the rear end, but I do think Stocky has a real good chance of not just picking up big points, possibly picking up a race victory here if he keeps up with the way he's going at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give people an idea, there's only 1.9 seconds covering the top 5 after 5 laps. That is absolutely brilliant. That is what the ULC is all about. And we've got 3 different leagues covering the top 5 places. And look at Stocky. I cannot believe this. He's putting in a stunning performance to take it to these guys. Where has he been all season? Brilliant stuff. Stocky, as you say, could benefit here from this title battle if it gets a little bit too heated. And well, he's doing all he needs to do. Get himself ahead of Cosmic and Counter-Strike. And then if anything happens, he is the net leader. And not only that, Ollie, we need to consider the weather as well. It could be all down to when it's time to change onto dries or wet tyres, whatever the weather chooses to do, or when's the right time to come onto another set of intermediate tyres. So, given they're all so tightly packed, a one-lap undercut could take Counter-Strike 2.2 off the lead into the lead of the Grand Prix quite easily as Kari gets right up behind Flores and is looking like the most likely to make a move in this group of 5 at the moment.
Yeah, he is indeed. I want to quickly mention, though, Ace of Pace has been dropping time dramatically, and Shimasi's all over the rear end of him. So the ILR guys might actually do some team orders here and say, look, Shimasi's quicker, and he's got some decent pace in the wet, and he can actually get his way up there and make this a 6-way scrap for a potential win here, as Kari's now all over the rear end, only slipstream powering up the hill there. It's a difficult one to go for. It's up the hill. Flores moves off the racing line there, maybe to cool down his tyres, get some grip in them. And I don't think Kari's going to be able to make the move here. Looking down the field, no one really can. Kari's braking up the inside.
Oh, he's round!
Kari's round! Kari's round! It's happened! I called it! I told
you! That's his unsafe rejoin!
He's up into P2. What a moment. You knew he'd get desperate, and Kari didn't need to do it.
No,
I called it. I said he'd go for something, and he just didn't need to do it. And now it's advantage Flores in this championship scrap now. Kari has everything to do. I don't think he's got any damage. Technique is all over the rear end of him now, and that there is an absolute nightmare for the Spaniards. They may complain, but let's be fair, he come from a hell of a long way back. It was never an overtaking opportunity. I said he wouldn't go for the move. He went for the move, and now he's regretting it. If that goes to the stewards, I think it's a very, very soft one indeed.
Well, it looks to me now like Kari has just blown the World Championship battle wide open. Flores last week, absolutely dejected, felt it was game over. Well, it's not game over now, son. It's game on. Kari bottles it, sends a missile up the inside that he never needed to send, goes for a spin down at turn 1, and now the Dutchmen are smiling. From Amsterdam to Rotterdam, there are cheers of joy. We can hear them here from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Absolutely incredible. Flores leads. Stocky now up into second, and we're getting a nosebleed if he goes any higher. Can he now do the impossible, the unthinkable, and attack Flores? It looks like it going into turn 1. He's right on his tail, and now Flores, is he struggling for any sort of pace on those intermediate tyres? Is the pressure getting to him? Stocky, no pressure at all, no title fight on here, and now look, Flores is wide, and here comes Stocky, side by side. Flores, that was very aggressive, bordering on dirty driving from Flores, coming across on Stocky there, side by side they go, and Flores holds his lead, but that was naughty, very naughty in my book. Ollie, agreed?
Oh, I can't disagree with you there. That is very, very, I'd say cheeky. I'm going to use the word cheeky because I don't want to be, too harsh on him.
I'm calling it absolutely disgraceful. That's what I'm calling it.
It was. I think that one's going to the stewards. Hopefully, for Stocky's sake, he hasn't picked up any damage. Flores is really struggling. Out of every corner, if you look, he's getting a tank slapper. He's drifting round there. It's like a Japanese festival at the moment. There he goes wide there. he is all over the place. I think maybe that he might have a ballast issue or some form of dry setup. If it is going wet to dry, he may have gone for a dry setup to have the pace in the dry and was planning on maybe holding up Kari for as long as possible, because Kari seemingly had more pace in the wet, if we're completely honest there.
Oh, there's the rear going again for Flores.
I don't know whether Flores has got tyre issues or the setup's wrong, but something
Here he
Stocky
comes.
could make a move here.
Here he comes, Stocky all over the back of Flores. He got it all wrong coming up the hill. Serious issues for Flores. He defends late. Stocky on the outside. Is the shock on you for the UPL? He tries the outside on Flores. He can't quite do it. Flores still sliding all over the racetrack. And this isn't Colin McGree dirt. This is Formula 1 Flores. He cannot get that car planted whatsoever, and he knows it. Stocky climbing all over the back of him as he goes down to turn 4. The UPL searching for a famous win here in the ULC. Climbing again is Stocky onto the back of Flores, whose desperate defending is bordering on unacceptable. Here goes Stocky round the outside up the hill. He's forced out of the road or bumped off the road. I think he kind of wasn't really Flores' fault, and he runs off the racetrack and drops all the way back to 4th place now. Well, that's a missed opportunity for Stocky. Did he need to go round the outside there? Maybe not.
Probably not, no. It seemed like a really simple decision to make there. Kari's now moved up to P6. He's got past Hamilton, who is now battling side by side. Hamilton's actually really giving him something to think about there, but Kari gets round there, the outside. Nice move from Kari, as he's now looking to make his way through, so it might not be over just yet. Cosmic is a second off. See, the thing that realistically what the Sauber guys and the race stars, the Dutch need, is for Counter-Strike to get up past Cosmic, and then I don't think this is over yet for Stocky though. I do still think he has a real good opportunity to get some points here, but that move there wasn't necessary. You've got to fight another day, you know. He's got the pace over him. If he's stuck to this position, Flores is all over the place. He's going to make a mistake at some point, and in the next few laps, if Flores does make a mistake, Stocky is going to be absolutely embarrassed, because this is a potential race victory, not just a race victory. This could be a historic one for UPL, a league who are relatively unknown in many parts. You know, they're starting to slowly build. They've not got the biggest following on social media like compared to the other guys, but they are definitely showing some great, and Stocky especially has been representing the brand and the team really, really well in recent races, and has definitely done a great job. And this is a real showcase amongst the big boys. You know, you look at the ILR guys, and you look at the race stars and the Spaniards up there, and they're the big guys. They're the kind of, you know, the top level guys. And you didn't expect UPL at the start of the season, relative unknowns. Neither of us really knew too much about them, but they've done a really good job. But Stocky just needs to get his head down, focus, not let this rush of blood get to him too much, and try and just dig deep and battle hard, because he seems like the quickest man on track at the moment, bar Kari.
Yeah, he sure does, and wow, if Stocky can do it, I mean, that's a major setback. It would be superb news for the UPL, and you know, I would really like it for him to do it for the UPL. I mean, this is what the ULC is all about, getting out, reaching out to the community, and trying to get other leagues known, and Stocky is really putting the UPL on the map here, and he's going to try and continue that as they go down the start-finish straight. We've got a move from Cosmic potentially as well. We need to stick with that. Cosmic round the outside of Flores. He could really help his teammate Kari. No move. Stocky, meanwhile, is trying to go round the outside of Counter-Strike, and round the outside he goes, dancing past the tower as if he wasn't even there, and Stocky climbs up into 3rd place, and he's quickly looking like my driver of the day, and the race is only 10 laps old. What about that, Ollie? That was scintillating stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. While that was going on, Kari set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so it's most certainly not over now. So Kari could still, to be frankly honest with you, I'll be completely honest here, I think anyone from top 4 and then Kari and maybe, I'm not sure about Shanasi now, he's got too much.
Ace of Pace certainly, top 5 plus Kari, top 6.
Ace of Pace. I don't know about Ace of Pace, he wasn't showing too much pace, but this squabbling has actually brought him into this. He wasn't showing too much pace when it was open, fastest lap, so literally any of the top 6 can actually win this Grand Prix. I'm going to throw it out here now. Who do you think is your favourite to win this Grand Prix?
My heart says Stocky, and you know what? I think my head says Stocky. I think he wants this. The pressure's not on him. I think Stocky's going to do it. I would love to see it. Ollie, what about yourself?
My heart says Stocky, my head says Kari.
From there,
I know he's a little way back, but I just look at his raw pace at the moment, and he seems to be the quickest man out there. For the championship, I believe all Counter-Strike's in the pits there. I think he's sort of slowed down the entire there. So Counter-Strike is the first man to come into the pits now. We'll stay on board with him. Keep an eye on him as Kari says another fastest lap. Let's see what tyres he goes on. I'd only imagine it was another set of intermediate tyres
surely.
He'll be coming on. So will it be a fresh set of green? It is indeed. So it's another set of intermediate tyres. It doesn't look like it's drying up. It doesn't look like it's getting too intense now. This could cause a chain reaction of cars coming into the pits. You've got Kari, Ace of Pace, Stocky, Cosmic, and Floris, who all could be considering pit stops very, very shortly.
You know what that says to me?
What does it say?
It says to me that there's going to be a weather change of some sort soon, because why would you pit this early for a new set of inters? It says to me that he needs inters to lap 22, another 11 laps, and then it's either going to dry up or get worse. That's my reading of the situation. They've been told, in my opinion, on the radio, rain to stop in 15 or rain to get worse in 15, and that's why the change has been made, because in 15 minutes time these tyres that these guys are currently on would be no use. I think the weather change is on the way. That can be the only logical explanation for pitting as early as lap 11, surely that's the case.
I'm just looking outside the commentary box here at the moment, and it doesn't look like it's getting darker, and there are starting to be a few patches of blue sky appearing between the clouds, so I'd only imagine really if it was going to be anything, it's dried. Now Floris pulls to the left-hand side of the track, he comes into the pits, so does Cosmic, which now means that Stocky will take a net lead, shortly followed, in comes Ace of Pace as well, and Kari!
Oh, that's an error! That's a mistake, because they're going to be queuing!
Cosmic, both pits!
What are they doing? Are they trying to shoot themselves in the foot? This is ridiculous! Kari comes in, and behind his teammate. Thankfully it's not too big a queue, but the tyres aren't ready! Finally they put them on, but precious seconds are lost, and Kari's chances of victory slip even further. And he drops right down the field, 9th position, and even further off the tail of the likes of Ace of Pace and Counter-Strike. Unbelievable, what an error that is. Why would they come in together? Surely they'd have spoke to one another, kept Cosmic out, but then again I suppose Cosmic's trying to take points off Floris, isn't he? So you can't really keep him out there. And this race takes another incredible twist.
Quick side note there, Andy, you know, F1 Roadrunner has actually come out ahead of Kari, so that traffic he dispatched of earlier, he now has to get back past. So it's kind of been a little bit counterproductive in that way. I thought he would have stayed out an extra lap, if I'm completely honest with you. You know, he surely must be communicating with his teammate. We hear that they're talking all the time. There must have been team radio saying it. And F1 Roadrunner, he might as well just stay out at this point. He's got nothing to play for. He might as well just get some airtime. The Ferrari boys will be loving the sponsorship at the moment they'll be getting from all this airtime. Stocky's leading. Shall we quickly talk about another fairy tale called GP1 Hamilton, who is currently P2 in this race as Stocky comes into the pits. I'm just going to quickly stay on board with GP1 Hamilton because we might just see him lead a Grand Prix. And here he comes, GP1 Hamilton is going to lead the Grand Prix with a Grand Prix full of championship hopes. He finally gets his moment, he leads this Grand Prix, followed by Technica. Stocky though, into the pits, he gets a clean pit stop. With all them guys pit stopping, let's see where he comes out. Floris has come out pretty comfortably there, but he might just come out ahead. Let's have a look. I think he might come out ahead of Counter-Strike, maybe Ace of Pace. Let's have a look now on board with Stocky. Now coming out, it's going to be really, really tough. This will be an intense battle now. Stocky now coming round. He's going to come out ahead of them there. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting, but there'll be more momentum for Counter-Strike, but it looks like Stocky slots there into P5. So he's done a really good job to hold him to P3 and actually went longer on his tyres as well. So he'll have pressure others to play with now. Yeah, so that increases his odds and reduces his odds for a chance of victory. So Stocky looking quite strong. He'll try and close up, and he should effortlessly close up to the likes of Floris and Cosmic, because I read Floris as a cork in the champagne bottle at the moment. He's holding everyone up. Strangely, Floris unable to match the pace of everyone else, usually so quick, and he was in real form the other night in the AOR F2 League. He won that, holding off his good friend Gemzo, who we know races well in this league too. And he was on form as Kari now makes the move on Roadrunner. That is pretty much, that was a certainty, wasn't it? Through goes Kari, up ahead of Roadrunner, and through he goes. But GP1 Hamilton, well done to him. If we don't see a championship being crowned today, a moment of history in ULC, we're going to have this moment of history, a first lap led by GP1. So well done to them. GP1 Hamilton leading this race from Technica in second. Those guys yet to stop. Floris now is third. We'll keep an eye on that battle with Cosmic right on his tail, and then Stocky hunting them down behind that. Counter-Strike, Ace of Pace, and then Kari. So here we go. Through turn 2 and now through the long sweeping turn 3. Floris again, look at the rear end, off the road again, going through turn 3. Really tail happy. The Sauber clearly set up for dry conditions, and Floris really struggling. Cosmic now breathing down his neck. The Williams climbing onto the tail of the Sauber as they go sweeping down the hill, down this short straight to this long right-hander. Cosmic really in the tail now behind Floris, and there's a lot of concern down
at that Sauber garage. The race star lads getting concerned. They don't know if their man Flores can hold on, because right now he's on the ragged edge. He's just not responding really well to pressure, is he? Keeps making errors, and he really isn't comfortable with that car underneath him as they go down the hill again. And is this time Cosmic going to be close enough to launch an attack on Flores into turn 1? That seems like his best opportunity. Maybe turn 4 as well, because Flores is always out of shape in 3. So here we go, climbing up the hill they will go on lap 14 of the 36. The laps have flown by, haven't they, as they go up the hill, but Flores seemingly far enough ahead this time to keep a hold of his position. But look at Stocky, he's coming and coming and coming, and what is going to be a net third position back onto the tail of them, isn't he, Ollie? And setting a new fastest lap.
Yeah, just the fastest lap there as now Kari smashes it. I just want to quickly point out, though, Counter-Strike will be one of the first cars that Kari comes across. His first one will be Ace of Pace. He's never no slouch to overtake, but Counter-Strike, I'm expecting some dirty driving. Now, that's not to say that he's a dirty driver. I'm just expecting some filthy driving to try and help his teammate in the championship. As Shimasi retires now, as he crashed out, no, he's just called it a day. He's decided he doesn't want to do this anymore and has left the lobby. Maybe internet issues or maybe some form of issues there. But that now promotes Tenth Fear up into the points. So some points there for Tenth Fear, who had a really difficult start to this race, being taken out and having issues there. But Kari will be all over the back of, you know, F1 Roadrunner earlier was a bit of an entree to begin with. You know, a nice starter. But now it's time to get onto the main course, which is going to be overtaking some of the hardest guys in the PS4 community on the F1 platform. There's some really pacey guys. The Swede is really competitive. Kari looks up the inside. Ace of Pace isn't going to give him any room there. Will barging. He barges through. He kind of proved my point completely wrong there. Ace of Pace opening the gap, and Kari takes it there. A little bit of argy-bargy, but Kari seems to mean business this afternoon, doesn't he?
Yeah, you see, I have to agree that he is the man with the most pace, but can he make up that time enough to try and get the victory? Well, you know what, Flores is helping him do it because he's holding all his challengers, all of Kari's challengers up. But as you say, Counter-Strike is the next one for Kari, and I don't expect the door to be left wide open like Ace of Pace did when Counter-Strike comes calling. And we're going to be keeping an eye on that one in the coming laps. But I'm looking at Stocky, Cosmic and Flores, this battle which continues to rage. And is GP1 and Hamilton and Technica trying to go long on the inters and switch on to whatever tires they need to? So I take it those guys are going to try and play the long game and hopefully change on to either, well, full wets or dries, whatever it turns out to be. I think it's going to be dries, as you said earlier on. It doesn't look as if it's getting any darker overhead, so that looks like their plan. One stop as opposed to these guys on the 2. So, I mean, why not, if you're GP1 Hamilton in particular, try something different from the majority and do that. But as I ride on board with them, his tyres are beginning to look a little bit like slicks, aren't they?
Yeah, I just watched him there for a few corners there, and he's gone wide, and that's opened up Technique to be on the back of him. But as you mentioned, they might as well go for it. They've got nothing to lose. If they do pit, they're coming out in around 9th, 10th anyway. So, you know, they might as well go for this. It's a real opportunity for them to showcase what they can do. Technica is no slouch, as we know. He's been in some great battles previously, and the Haas guys down at SLR could be very important points for them in the championship. But yeah, it's a real interesting one because I was keeping an eye on up until that lap. Forrest and Coe, you know, all the train behind him weren't gaining that significantly. It was 5 seconds the gap, about 5-6 laps ago.
Oh, there's a move from Technica into turn 1. Apologies for coming across you. They're side by side, Technica and GP1. That is going to really mix things up. And he's round. Oh, the fairy tale engine tears. GP1 into a spin and now going through turn 1 and 2. Look at this. Flores, Kari and Stocky just jostling down towards turn 4. Flores holding firm and somehow still keeps them behind.
Stocky up the inside.
Oh, he's through, is he? No, not yet. And Cosmic holds on. And again, it's the same situation, isn't it, for Stocky? If these guys get together, Stocky will walk through the door. But now the extra spanner in the works is Technica's there as well. And Stocky sends a missile up the inside where you'd least expect it. He tries to go round the outside in the middle sector. That will give him the inside for the next corner, but he's not close enough to make the move and stays behind. But Flores now tries one on Technica, rushing it up the inside, banging wheels. Is he through on Technica? Not quite. Stocky is through on Cosmic though. He makes that move stick. And now, what about Technica? Is he still holding on? Yes, he is. Flores up the inside, and Flores takes the place away. Is Stocky through as well? Stocky is through as well. He touches the back of Flores, and now he's under pressure, loses momentum. Cosmic, Technica right there. Technica is swamped by the chasing pack, and now Cosmic fancies coming back at Stocky, running down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. And Stocky, has he finally sealed the move? No, he's not. Cosmic's on the inside. Incredible battling between the two, and Flores finally gets a bit of breathing space, and Stocky has got himself up into second place in this ridiculous battle, which continues to rage. Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it was insane, but not only that, Kari was looking up the inside of Counter-Strike. He's doing his job absolutely perfectly. We'll go back to the beginning there. So GP1 Hamilton on Technica, that's a racing incident in my opinion. GP1 Hamilton, he went into the side pod there. He didn't really realise he was going to be there. He's lost control. He's only got himself to blame. And I'm surprised he hasn't pitted yet. He's still going, so he's going for the longer run. But you look how close all these guys are. It's 2.6 seconds from first to sixth at the moment. Yes, Technique is in there, but he is really going. And this is what I said earlier. I hope we get rain because it does bring out the best racing. It brings out such tight racing at a track really where you can get trains, but you can get these moments of pure brass momentum where you just try and go for anything audacious to try and get yourself up a position. We saw it there with Stocky, who almost got the opportunistic move there. But yeah, this is insane now. Kari looking up the inside of Counter-Strike, he goes for it, he gets a little bit wide, he taps him out there. That was a little bit dirty there from Kari now as they hit the wheels now. A little bit of wheel spin, he's pushing Counter-Strike out right wide now. They're side by side now up the hill. Counter-Strike losing out there, Kari really getting his elbows out now, but Counter-Strike getting the slipstream. Kari holding off the inside line there, he's got the momentum, he's going to hold on to his position. Counter-Strike then will feel a little bit hard done by as Kari didn't go for the cleanest of moves there. He'll feel though that earlier on, of course, Flores did the same to him. But I wonder if Counter-Strike will complain to the stewards about that one, because it did look a little bit cheeky. But, you know, it's all fair racing. If Flores' one's fair, then that one's fair. So you've got to get your elbows out, and, you know, lovely move there from Kari. His next target now is Technica, who, as we saw earlier on, was swallowed up by the chasing pack. And if you consider earlier on, Kari was spun around, and I think he had just enough time there now. Just enough time for when he was spun to gain back on this leading pack here, who are squabbling. And if we're completely honest, if Flores would have used his real pace, now up the inside goes Kari. He's on a right charge. Technique is going to hold it around the outside, and now that's going to turn to the inside line. Kept pushing out Kari, then just about avoiding touching each other there. Beautiful move there from Kari. Great driving from Technica, and that is now Kari in P4. So you'd look at the championship and say maybe not advantage Flores. He just seems to outscore and taking it Abu Dhabi, and anything can happen in the desert as we've seen in prior years.
Well, if hold on a minute, well, a sec. If Kari stays fourth, and if Flores wins the final round, I think that levels it out in the driver standings. I think. I think it was this. I think if Kari finishes fourth, I think so anyway. But never mind that. Stocky is about to try something incredible. He bangs wheels and Flores into turn one and runs off the road. So Stocky off the racetrack, rejoins. That allows Kari back up into third place, and Cosmic now onto the tail of Flores. How did you read that one, Ollie? Was it a tight squeeze from Flores?
Again, I think Stocky's not got the experience to realise that there's a silly time to go for a move there. You've got the pace, you've got to take your time. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, stupid decision from Stocky, I'd say. It's a silly one in my opinion, but he's got the pace. He could maybe even catch and overtake Kari here. He uses Kari's pace. I'm honestly not sure who's the quickest man on track at the moment. It could be Stocky, it could be Kari. The way that Stocky's driving is almost like he's got traction control. It reminds me of Max Verstappen of 2016, going for audacious moves around the outside when no one else has got traction. You know, he's seemingly becoming the young upstart in the wet here, and it's really interesting. Another quick side note though is if Cosmic gets past Flores, when he goes past, does he play it cheeky? Does he try and, you know, just nudge Flores off track maybe, you know, just give him a little bit of an advantage for Kari, or does he just, you know, at this moment try and keep Flores, get him a little bit slower, open up the opportunity there? There's a little bit of lag spike there between them two. Did that happen on your screen as well? Was that just
it sure did, and now Cosmic might retreat. He might retreat and let Kari have a go, because Cosmic's been stuck there for a while with no joy, as we have Counter-Strike and Technica go side by side down the start-finish straight. Technica continues to be swallowed up by the pack, but he isn't losing too many places. He drops now to 6th, but crucially, in terms of time, he's not lost a lot. He might lose places, but time... Oh, he's got a puncture! Oh, no! Well, that's the commentator's curse. Technica, left front puncture. He's gone too long on those intermediate tyres, and the straight line racing drivers race has been destroyed. Deflated would maybe be a better word. And yeah, points don't look likely now for Technica. He's crawling back to the pits. And that's a shame, because he was trying to go long on those tyres, and it wasn't the right decision, was it, Ollie?
No, it wasn't, but we've got to quickly mention as well, if you remember earlier, lap 11 was the lap that Flores pitted, so he then come in and hoping for lap 22, so we're coming to that second pit stop. If you look in the sky, it's getting a little bit blue, so there is potential as Kari now is swapped with Cosmic, not really surprising there. Not what I really like to see, if I'm completely honest. I'm not a fan of team orders. I think they should be banned. I don't think they're a fair thing. I don't think drivers should just swap. But, you know, you can't really place it in this sort of system. So Kari now is up into second, and he's got Flores. So the battle we saw earlier that we was getting excited for is now going to restart. But yeah, back to the pit stops. You'd imagine that there's a potential that Flores would want to be pitting lap 22 to lap 24, which would then probably cause a chain reaction. So if I'm completely honest, I think Counter-Strike should be the first one to pick, because if he pits, he could maybe go for an undercut, because we just saw there a puncture there for Technica, meaning that the tyres that they're on aren't going to last into the race. So if if Counter-Strike was playing it clever, he might pit early, but you look at the track and there is a dry line starting to form. The rain is getting very, very light. So it looks like these guys are going to try and push it out onto a fresh set of tyres, and you go onto the fastest ultra soft tyres that are available to you. But yeah, Counter-Strike, if I'm honest, I think Counter-Strike should be the first one to go. GP1 Hamilton, Technica and Roadrunner all in the pits. Technica, you know, let's have a look. Medium tyres onto GP1 Hamilton. He'll be the first one. Let's see what Technica goes on to. He comes into the pits. He's onto intermediate tyres. And F1 Roadrunner, he is also going onto medium tyres. So the GP1 Championship guys will be the first ones onto onto the dry compound tyres. And Technica, he's on intermediate. So
hold on, we've got Kari all over Flores, and I mean all over him. And the track is getting drier and drier and drier. Maybe Flores will fare better when the track dries out. As you say, GP1 and Roadrunner, the first ones on the mediums, they are the guinea pigs as Kari tries a silly move up the inside of Flores. That was just silly. I don't know why they're doing that. That's both Flores and Kari tried moves that just seemed a bit half-hearted, a bit pointless. And in the end, he touches the back of Flores. No damage done. Flores comes in now. So he finds a set of drives already. Surely it's too early. That's what I think. It's now a 1-2 for the Spaniards with Stocky on their tail. Stocky having a little look, but he can't get past Cosmic. And there's Kari now moving into position to go on to win this race. But I'm sorry, I can't help but be critical. Some of the driving from the guys at the front is getting a bit desperate for my liking. It just needs to be more calculated. And for me, it's not at the moment.
Yeah, Kari's made a few very questionable lunges as Flores on dry. So if I'm honest, I think Flores has made a smart choice there. You could see Kari was going to swallow him up and then probably pull away a few seconds. And the track is getting to that point where it's dry and optimal. If we look on board with Technica though, he's caught and overtaken the GP1 guys, so it doesn't look like it's dry. Now Stocky up the inside there of Cosmic, he gets the move done. If this splits the two drivers there, Cosmic goes wide now, he's going to go for the switchback, goes for the undercut, can't get it done. But what is happening here is Stocky is becoming the spanner in the works between these two. At the moment, if Cosmic was playing this tactical, he would back off and hold up Stocky, lets his teammate go. But at the moment, Stocky is really rolled up for this potential win. You've got to note as well though, at this moment in time now, Cosmic is pretty much out of this race, because when the tyres do go into their change for the prime optimal conditions, which will be the dry ones eventually, he'll be out of it, because he'll have to pit on the same time as teammate or go long, which is not the optimal strategy. He now listens to me quite wisely and comes into the pit, so he's covering off Flores, who at the moment seems to be going really, really quick. A 5-second stop though there from Cosmic. I haven't seen too many time penalties given, but at the moment I'm looking at Flores and he does seem to be flying a little bit. He does seem to have some pace in that car, a little bit all over the place, but he has been all race weekend nonetheless. But what I'm really interested to see now is
where he has compared to Cosmic.
I'm really interested to see how Stocky does on the back of Kari now.
I'm interested to see that, and also where Flores is in relation to Cosmic, because that will give us an idea of the situation. And Flores is well clear of Cosmic. So is this an inspired decision? Oh no, is it? Sorry, I'm talking rubbish. No, he's not. He's behind him. He's behind him. So there you go. The perfect situation there for the Spaniards. The SML lads are high-fiving each other in the garage because they know Cosmic can hold Flores there and allow Kari to roll out the red carpet and head on to the ULC throne. Absolutely incredible. Flores needs to pass him now, doesn't he? Absolutely crucial, and he's right behind him. Flores needs to get the move on Cosmic. Try and use this undercut to perfection, but he can't with Cosmic blocking his path, and it's looking good for Kari. Surely he'll be in the pits at the end of this lap. Flores tries a desperate lunge up the inside of Cosmic. He can't find a way through, and it's a Spanish wall. Kari stays out for another lap. Interesting there, and now Flores takes the lunge. He's through. Surely he'll come back on the exit. Cosmic does come back on the exit. Flores too deep into the corner. Cosmic back up the inside, and the frustration builds even more for Flores. Oh, he'll be absolutely furious in that cockpit.
Yeah, but importantly there, I want to quickly note is that Kari, who is now on the slower tyres, I've been keeping an eye on them, so they've been all over the place, and the other two are actually gaining. on them at the moment there.
Despite battling.
He's now actually stayed out a few more, an extra lap, so this can actually now come back into the hands of Cosmic and Flores here. And Stocky is playing it safe and copying his strategy. Counter-Strike's coming to the pits. If you look now, he's coming out right next to Ace of Pace. Now this could be an interesting battle going into turn 4 now. Counter-Strike right the inside line, Ace of Pace the outside, more momentum for Ace of Pace. Brakes later, goes around the outside, little bit of contact, pushed out wide there, and it's a held place there for Counter-Strike, unsurprisingly. And Ace of Pace went to the out, locked up his tyres, and unsurprisingly was unable to get past. A real good battling there between them two. But yeah, we want to keep an eye on how Stocky Kari do. You want to see one of them pitting. You'd imagine Kari would go for it very shortly. He's just playing it safe. But Flores and Cosmic are now just 19 seconds behind. It was 20.9 a second ago. They're really gaining significantly now. So Kari has to come into the pits. He does so. Stocky will follow. We've got to keep an eye on Cosmic and Flores at the moment, because if Flores can get past Cosmic, he might still be able to come out in front. So this race might not be over just yet.
Yeah, he can't find a way through yet though, Flores, but he does need to find a way past before Kari comes out the pits. Where is Kari? He's exiting his box now. Kari exits and goes on to super softs, so he will have the tyre advantage. But where is Cosmic and Flores? Does he have the track advantage as Flores sets a new fastest lap of the race to show where the pace is? Where is... Oh! He's been there! And now Flores takes the place, but where is Kari? That's the key! He's there! He's on the outside of the track! Flores is going to hold the lead! Absolutely incredible! Another roar from the Dutch as Flores uses one of these 9 lives to hold on to the lead. It's not worked for Kari. He left it too long. Cosmic made an error, and Flores, in the space of a couple of corners, passes 2 Williams cars and takes the lead back again. Unbelievable. But now, can Kari take the race back to him once more? And I tell you what, yeah, Ollie, with Flores at the front, don't be surprised if Kari, Cosmic, Stocky and Counter-Strike all get involved once more.
Oh, God, you know what? Just when Flores goes through, and not only, I feel like that was perfectly set, Cosmic loses the rear end. His whole tactic of holding him up has not worked. Flores goes through, takes the lead. It's just a massive middle finger from the Sauber guys down to the Williams.
Sure is.
Flores picks up a time penalty there. That might be looked at. It didn't look like there was significant corner cutting there. You know, you'd have to keep an eye on that. It didn't look like he'd done much there. That will go to the stewards, of course, so because that does ruin the race here. We want it to be decided on track. We don't want a championship decided on time penalties now, do we?
No, we don't.
But that was intense. Flores sets the fastest lap. A side note is, of course, though, that Kari is on super soft tyres and Flores is on soft, but I'd be surprised if then super soft would last till the end of the race. Now, Kari getting a really good exit there as he comes out of the corner. All the guys are getting time penalties now. All over the back is Kari now. Going to use the slipstream.
He's going to do him up the inside. Flores defends.
Just one defensive move. And Flores holds onto it. Flores, for me, seems like one of the best defenders now. Kari going to go up the inside. He gets the swing back. Flores gets the rear end lost. And he's up the inside. Flores is off the track. He's lost the position as well. Kari gets the switch back, and Flores there has gone from a moment of brilliance to a moment of dread. And there goes Flores. Is Kari letting him through there? He's defending the inside line. Drastically. So I'm not sure if Kari's letting him through there, maybe at all, if he feels bad. I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit of argy-bargy, you know. Flores done the same to Kari earlier, so well, that will probably be investigated. There's going to be a lot of investigations, I think, from the stewards after this one, looking at it. They've really got their elbows up. Both Kari and Flores have been a little bit dirty. They've been playing in the mud a little bit too much in these rainy conditions. Now Kari getting a little bit wayward out of that corner now. I'm going to try and get the rear end in check now. Does Flores? He's going to have the slipstream up the hill here. And will he be going for a lunge up the inside? It's very unlikely. But Kari leads now in this championship scrap with just 8 laps to go as they come on to lap 28. Kari says the fastest lap of the race, but more importantly, will he be able to keep them super soft tyres alive until the very end of the race?
I think he'll be fine, you know that. I think Kari's got this in the bag. I don't think Flores has got an answer for him. We've seen him struggle so many times coming out of turn 3, whether it be on dry tyres or intermediate tyres, and finally it's cost him. Kari with that move on the inside, now looking like a certainty to win the race, and I think the championship as well. Flores simply did not have the pace. He did not have the ability to hold back Kari, and right now I think it's a done deal. I think Flores needed to hold Kari up and try and get Stocky involved and Counter-Strike involved. Unfortunately, he's been unable to do that, and Kari, for me, Ollie, is waltzing off into the distance. It's looking good for him. 8 laps to go, and is Kari about to bring home the crowning moment for the Spaniards? I certainly think so. I cannot see a comeback, can you, Ollie?
It's very tough to say. He's still within that 1 second gap, so when DRS opens he might, but Flores is so all over the place at the moment. Kari's now pulled out that second, so very, very strange at the moment. You look at Stocky as well. He now in the dry conditions hasn't really got an answer. So he was clearly set up for the wet. We all thought that Kari was set up for the wet conditions and Flores was for the dry, but I just don't think Flores has really had the pace all weekend. I think he's just been scrappy. I think he's just been on this race and been trying to win this race through pure passion alone. Quick side note though, GP1 Hamilton and F1 Roadrunner, both on medium tyres, were some of the first runners to come in, wasn't they? For them medium runners, and they're actually in 7th and 8th, so they're doing a really good job at the moment. 8th of pace and Counter-Strike kind of out of this race at the moment. Flores is starting to drop. And, you know, all that late drama earlier on about who could win, the top 6 being so close, it started to open up a little bit. 8 seconds between 8th of pace and Kari, who is now, as you mentioned, waltzing into the sunset and seemingly has this one in the bag.
Yeah, it's away he goes, and it's a shame because I felt if Flores held on to that lead, we might have had the top 6 closing up once more, because that really was the reason we had it in the first place. Flores was the cork in the champagne bottle, and I like the word you used to describe his race. It was scrappy from the get-go, and he's just been kind of sawing at the wheel, driving on pure passion, as you say, and unfortunately you can only go so far driving like that, and in the end the smoothness, the well set up organised Kari has came from the back, virtually the back after the spin, to retake the lead, and I think really head and shoulders above the rest today. Perhaps Stocky deserves an honourable mention as well for his drive, but I know it's not over yet, but can we start to mention some driver of the day contenders?
Well, this is so. I don't want to do it because if you remember a few weeks ago, I gave a driver of the day, and then, I mean, then they ended up getting a different winner, and it just completely threw a spanner in the works. I mean, last week the whole thing changed, and I would have said Stocky earlier on because he was doing so well, but now Kari has come from the back of the grid to lead, and Flores has done so well to keep this championship alive. And considering, you know, if I was going to say driver of the season, for me it's Flores. I know that he's not going to win the championship in this race, but he missed the opening round. If he would have taken part in the opening round, who knows what would have happened. He might have had the pace. But, you know, Kari at the moment is leading deservedly. So with everything on the line, you know, everything that's happened, the scrappy racing, I would say Kari purely because it's championship on the line and he looks like he's been a winner.
Yeah, Kari for me, driver of the day. Stocky, arguably a contender for driver of the day. And yeah, quite an incredible race, but we still have 6 laps to go. Anything can happen. There's not much to split between them. It's Kari in the lead on lap 30 out of 36, about to begin lap 31. Flores now dropping back to second. It's Cosmic in third. Stocky runs an honourable 4th and looking to get that UPL car on the podium. Counter-Strike runs 5th. Ace of Pace is 6th. GP1 Hamilton and F1 Roadrunner, we've mentioned them as well. One of those guys could arguably have a shout for driver of the day given the way they've driven. 7th and 8th, Technica in 9th, and Ted Thea is 10th, having a forgettable afternoon. We lost Shimasti due to technical issues, and Frandy Thompson was smashed up against the tyre wall down at the bottom of the hill on the opening lap of this Grand Prix. So that is why those two are out, but Kari in control and heading for the title. Am I right in saying this, Ollie? That wraps up both championships for the Spaniards, I think, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It just makes Bahrain a
dead rubber.
An ending finale, pretty much a dead round. Everything's pretty much wrapped up here, so whether or not we go to Bahrain, that's another question. We'll see how that goes, depending. But everything will be wrapped up here at the moment. It's a finale that should have been, but never was. In a way, you know, this would have been our finale, but obviously with technical issues at Bahrain, Technique is picking up a time player there. So I'm frankly honest with you, I'm just waiting, keeping an eye on that bottom left-hand corner to see if anything happens to Kari time penalty-wise, because if it does, it could throw a complete spanner in the works. As we mentioned that, I'm going to quickly go through and mention any time penalties. So, as we say, Kari, he has 2 warnings, so he's just 1 away there. Flores, he did pick up a penalty earlier on, which we mentioned, and could be looked at, but at the moment I don't think he'll really care too much. Cosmic, he has got we've got a 5-second stop go as well, so he has a penalty plus a stop go, so that might be looked at. Stocky, he's only had Stocky has got a warning, sorry. Counter-Strike, he does have a warning. He picked up one with 1 extra warning as well, so there's a penalty plus a warning. No penalty for Ace of Pace. GP1 Hamilton, who's been relatively clean, hasn't got a single warning, so fair play to him. You know, other guys have been scrappy and he's done a really good job to keep it on track. Roadrunner, he has just got 1 warning as well. You know, guys, GP1, very, very clean drivers, where, you know, this race has been dominated by scrappy, poor driving. You know, them two have done a really good job to showcase clean racing in a way.
Slow and steady can often win the race, can't it?
Yeah, penalty for Technica as well. 10th here, the last guy out there, he has not got a penalty and he's just coming for fresh of super soft. Maybe going for the fastest lap. His 10th position is pretty much wrapped up for him as Kari. There's another sorry, he's probably about to set another fastest lap there. So let's have a look, see what he does.
Yeah,
He comes across the
stretching
line. I
the
wouldn't be
gap
too
out.
shocked if he does. The track's ever improving. He's ever getting improving. There
Yep,
we go.
there it is.
13.5. That is nearly a second quicker than the previous fastest that he set, and he is slowly pulling away from Flores, who realistically on any other day would be winning this Grand Prix, wouldn't he? But Kari throughout the season has been consistently the man on top. He's always done it from round one when Stephen, remember back then when we were saying
yes.
Stephen's a bottle job and all that, and he picked up a race victory. We didn't expect it to come this far and Kari to do so well. We said the SNL guys would be the ones to watch, and Kari has, along with Cosmic and Marchetti, of course, Marchetti being a big part of this team as well, all three of them, the Spaniards, look to have started their own armada and are likely to be crowned constructors and ULC team champions for the first season here on PS4, with Kari, their leading Spaniard, who is likely to become the first ever ULC PS4 Drivers Champion as well. A clean sweep for the Spaniards, but a noble effort and a noble fight from not only Flores but the entire team, including Gemzo and Counter-Strike, who have done the whole team a great service and really shown some great passion considering they were latecomers.
Yeah, they sure have, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. And Kari, who has been, as you say, dead consistent, has been like a robot all season long. Looks like he's going to fly the flag for the Spanish here in Brazil, and he's only 3 laps from glory, and he now pumps in another fastest lap to just strengthen his grip and flex his muscles to show that they are the team to beat. Kari in control, Flores second, Cosmic in third. Looks like it's going to be a double podium. I think he saved that 5-second stop going he was in the pits, did he? But if he did, then that would move him up to second. But mind you, Stocky still fancies a shot at that podium, and it's right behind him. So I mean, I really do hope Stocky can get up there. I'd love to see 3 different teams on the podium. So Stocky attacking Cosmic in a championship that, as you say, Ollie, has been dominated for the most part by the Spanish and the Dutch, bar that opening round with that brilliant win by Skeven, and that seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? I really enjoyed that opener with Skeven winning it. I thought we were given a bit of a false dawn, weren't we? We were expecting some real SRL pace, some real ILR pace, but in the end it was the guys from mainland Europe that stole the show. And yeah, I have to say, it's been a brilliant performance from Kari and the Spanish team. Marchetti early on, and now Cosmic. And yeah, it's just a matter of time now as they tick down the laps, tick down the miles, tick down the corners before Madrid, Barcelona, well, maybe not Barcelona, the Catalans might not like that, but certainly Madrid and many other places in Spain go berserk for a Spanish victory. Lap 35 now to 36, Kari in control, Ollie, and doing a fine job.
Yeah, he's been the finest driver of all season, but you know, there's been some really inspirational, singular performances. For me, you know, we'll quickly go through the race of the season. For me, the driver of the season goes to one man, and that was at Spain, and that man is currently in second position.
Yeah,
standing in the bow out in second. He in a really good battle here with Cosmic. This could get interesting between these three. But yeah, as I was mentioning, Flores from the back of the grid. We're always saying how quick he can be, and he's done a really good job. He's released another 3-second time. I don't think he's going to be caring too much at this stage. He knows, similar to Hamilton in 2016, he knows the championship is over. He might as well just go for it, and he might as well just put everything he has behind this, as Cosmic looking to make it a 1-2 here. But yeah, Flores at Spain for me is the best drive of the season, hands down, from last to first. It was incredible, and that's when we all thought there was a potential that he could be in the championship hunt, and none of us really expected when he qualified last that he'd be in this situation come the penultimate round.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I do believe that Flores put in the drive of the season in Spain, and I have actually thinking back, that was probably the race of the season as well, that Spanish Grand Prix, an absolute classic. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to watch it back as Kari begins his final tour of the circuit. But we cannot watch him yet. We have to keep an eye on this battle. It looks like it's going right to the flag. Cosmic under pressure from Stocky, but he's busy attacking Flores in front. He ain't interested in looking behind. He wants to rub salt in the wounds of the Dutchman. He can't find a way through. Flores stays second, Cosmic third. Look at the run. Stocky's coming out of turn 4. He's going to go side by side with the Spaniard. He tries left, he tries right. Again, he's left frustrated, and Cosmic clings on to third, and again switches attention to Flores ahead, and now Stocky locks up and nearly clips the back of Cosmic. Great battle between these lads, but very soon we're going to have to switch to the race leader, and in fact now we are going to have to switch to the race leader. Here comes Kari, down at the bottom of the hill, through Young Sao he goes, climbing the hill. Down the years we've crowned many champions here in Brazil, and the ULC on PS4 in its first ever season also gets to crown a champion in Brazil. Kari wins it for SML, he wins it for Spain. They have done it. Carey wins the
Stocky's going up
drivers.
the inside, they're side by side, they're going to cross the line incredibly close. Stocky got it. Stocky's got it. He's only got that. He's got second. Oh my word. That, I know not to take it away from Carey there, but that was incredible. Stocky deserves credit where it's due for that. He got a fantastic run out of the final corner, got side by side, they bashed wheels, and he spoiled the party, and a potential 1-2 for the SML guys. Flores will not be on the final podium, but we will try and get him in here nonetheless to get some words from him. But Andy, I'll let you have it back. Sorry to interrupt, but that was too tense.
It was too good not to discuss. I cut back to the action, and it was a photo finish at the finish line. What was that, a horse race or something? Goodness me, unbelievable. Stocky with that well-deserved second. We have to give it to him, well done. But Carey, absolutely magnificent. He does it for the Spanish. He does it for himself. It's a League and Cup double, you could say. It's a double. It's a teams and individual double for Carey. The Spanish flag flies here in Brazil. They have done it. SML on top. And now the podium celebrations. Here they come. Quite remarkable. The Spanish will be delighted. Yet another champion crowned at Interlagos. It seems to happen all the time. And there is Carey on top. There's Williams' team delighted. And you have to say that the moment the championship was sealed was arguably last weekend in the USA, wasn't it, Ollie? As the celebration continues.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. It's disappointing to say, but I think that bottle from Flores, if he wouldn't have done that, if he would have been continued in his position, the championship would still be open, but it would still be open. But Carey, you know, he's throughout the season has done his job, and you know, it's a disappointing one. If I'm completely honest with you, though, I think the difference between the SML guys and the Race Star guys is the fact that the SML guys have always had two guys who are near enough, not just podium, but race-winning quality. They've always been up there. Yep. With Marchetti and Carey, and then you had Cosmic and Carey, and it was just a complete mix of who was going to be up there. And you always expected one of the two to at least be up there, if not both of them to be on the podium. Whereas with Flores, it always seemed to be Flores, and then Gemzo was always a little bit behind, and Counter-Strike never really seemingly had the same pace, even though he has beaten him today, but not on track technically. But you know, it's a shame there, but I think next season they'll come back stronger. They'll have a whole season. They'll have to come and they'll have to start to focus on the team and try and get things a little bit more focused. But a great performance from SML, very much deserved championship, and very much so Carey does deserve the crown. And here in Brazil, you know, one of the best podiums on the calendar. The only other one you say they'd want to win it at would maybe be Italy, and of course being Spanish, they'd love to have won the Spanish Grand Prix, which they didn't. Flores will hold that one over their heads quite proudly. So that one will be interesting to see. They'll probably want to fight back and get that win next season round.
Yeah, I have to agree with most of what you said. But maybe argue Gemzo had the pace to level Flores, and I think maybe if it was Carey and Marchetti taking on Flores and Gemzo the whole way, we might have had some championship, especially if they'd been there from the very start. And I think I have to say this opening season in ULC has really set a good foundation for next year. I mean, the Spanish will be fighting hard to come back and win again. We'll have Flores and maybe Gemzo or maybe Counter-Strike again trying to win it off them, of course being so close this year. And then the likes of ILR, we know they're capable if they get the right drivers in. Maybe they didn't quite have the pace this year. Will they take it more seriously next time and get some real searing pace in there to take it to these guys? And perhaps even the UPL, they've put in a fine performance in the latter stages, particularly with Stocky, an up-and-coming league. Maybe they can really start to mix it up, and SRL as well, if they're more frequently in it, can also contend. But right now, I'm going to try and get the podium drivers in here, and yeah, bear with us for a few moments. Right, let's get them in. I see you've suggested them, Ollie, so let's try and get those guys in there. We'll also try and get Flores in here as well. So that's Carey, Stocky and Flores. Let's speak to those guys then. But yeah, really well done to the Spanish, well deserved. And I think over the piece, not only did they have two quicker drivers, Ollie, would it be fair to say they were more consistent as well?
Yeah, as well. Yeah, as I mentioned, you know, they always seem to have two guys on the podium, whereas Race Stars seemingly always struggled. I think today especially they just showed much more consistency than the other guys around them, especially Carey, you know, from the position he come back to get back. I think Flores just throughout the race was pretty much all over the place, and he was fighting a losing battle in the lead for much of it. But you know, you can't take away from Kari. He just was the quickest guy, not just today, but over the entirety of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I see we now have got Stocky and Flores here. We now just wait for Kari, who's probably celebrating in the paddock, jumping on top of all his mechanics and team members, and it might be take some time to get him in here. So without further ado, while we wait on Kari, we will speak to what I expect is a similarly dejected Flores after last week. Flores, you gave it your all today, you tried your best, but in the end it wasn't quite enough. I mean, you didn't seem to have the pace today. What was wrong with the car? Sliding a lot?
I can't drive in the rain. That's just the thing. I can't drive in the rain. It's impossible.
And so why is that? Why is it a weakness, do you think? Any reason in particular?
Yeah, a lot of sliding. Do
you think perhaps,
sliding and losing the rear?
Do you think perhaps a little bit impatient in the throttle?
I tried my utterly best today. Literally, I drive so freaking hard to defend them all, but it wasn't quite yet. Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Well, congrats to Kari. Just an amazing fight back.
Sure was.
Because yeah, he spun. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know how many seconds he was behind. I think maybe he has a controller laying.
I think 8
him.
or something.
Yeah, 8 seconds, man. Maybe you have a controller right beside you.
Yeah.
Well, unlucky Flores, unlucky very nearly getting the result today, but not quite enough to take it to the next round. And with that, I think we should speak to Kari. Kari, congratulations, you got the job done. 1 round from the finish, perhaps a little bit of relief and a lot of joy. Well done. You've done it for the Spanish, you've done it for yourself, individual and team. Well done. How does it feel?
Fantastic, you know, after having a really difficult race with the span at the first lap, Flores overtook me in the 3rd corner or something, and then he was defending really hard. I understand him because he has to do it, so no problem. And then I tried to overtake him, and then I spun, so had to recover and had to overtake some people. Then I stopped in the same lap as my teammates, so lost a bit of time there, 2 seconds maybe, and then, you know, recovering and winning the race. Fantastic.
Yeah, it really was a superb recovery, Kari. I didn't think you'd win it from there. Ollie kept the faith. He thought you could win it from back there because it seemed you did have a pace advantage. But Kari, that really was a champion's drive, a drive of a worthy champion. So well done, a superb performance.
Yeah, absolutely. With another team also, but yeah, I'll try.
Okay, good to hear. And what about Cosmic? Is Cosmic in the party? Have we got him in here, yeah?
He isn't. I told him to join, but
Have we got him in here? Let's look at... Oh, we not got him. Okay. Well, a quick word on that, Kari. If Cosmic's not here, I'll have a quick word with you on it. You had Marchetti with your teammate at the start of the season, and Cosmic has also teamed with you in the latter stages when Marchetti dropped out. A quick word on your teammate. He's been a fantastic rear gunner for you, a fantastic help to try and defend from Flores, and of course help the team get the result. So a quick word on your teammate.
yeah, perfect. 2 races in a row, doing the best job. I can only say thanks to him because 10 out of 10, you know,
Yeah,
perfect for him.
Perfect performance from Cosmic as well, and that of course Ollie, as you would say, Ollie, has been the key, isn't it? Just explain to those guys what you were saying earlier on. You seem to think that the Spanish had the stronger pairing as a duo, didn't they?
Yeah, it just seemed that throughout the season that there was always 2 drivers, you know, whether it was Kari Cosmic or Kari Marchetti, that were always up there from Australia from the get-go. It just seemed like, you know, Flores a lot of the time had to go it alone almost. You know, you had that teammate who was there to help, you know, very similar to in the real F1 situation where Bottas was always there to help Hamilton, but Vettel couldn't really rely on Raikkonen as much. And I think that's it. I think if it was just a straight fight, say both your teammates were in last position, nothing to do with it. It could have been a completely different story. But you saw, in the race, Cosmic was more than happy to help out Kari, hold him up, and so on, and do the job to keep Flores entertained. Keep him behind him. But it was a really good one. I just want to quickly mention, Flores, what was your reaction? Two things. Your first reaction when Kari went into the side of you and lost the rear end, and also when he come out the pits and you got past Cosmic and then got past him to take the lead, and at that stage it looked like you had all the cards in your hand for the championship.
Yeah, when I saw Kari come out of the pits, I thought we were going to be side by side, and then Cosmic spun, so I needed to avoid him, overtook him, and then saw Kari was behind me, so that was very nice to see. I was celebrating, but I was celebrating a bit too early because I made a mistake. He was on my outside and did a perfect switchback and overtook me, and I tried to cover, but I touched him, and so I went off. And yeah, I couldn't and GG's, and I hadn't not the pace anymore to close down the gap.
It seemed,
and of course,
okay.
Yeah. So last week, obviously, you had that mistake at USA, which seemingly is. I've done the maths. If this would have been the result and you would have got P2, and the penalties may have been or may not removed, then the championship would have gone down to Abu Dhabi. So
to Bahrain.
Sorry, my bad. To Bahrain. So do you think that mistake last week is the reason that maybe you've lost out on this championship, or do you think it was just a gradual, just genuine pace of car?
Also missing the first race. That was
yeah.
That's because if I score points today, and if I scored points 10, and if I didn't spun last week, it would be a fantastic battle for the championship next week, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It couldn't be.
Well, I suppose, Flores, that's something we look forward to next season, because next season, of course, you all have a clean slate. You'll be more determined than ever to take it to the Spanish, and of course you will be starting at the very first round this time, so certainly an opportunity there to, with a clean slate, a fair chance, I suppose, as opposed to starting a little bit later to take it to Kari and Cosmic or whoever it may be. So yeah, it's certainly going to be exciting next season, Flores. Another quick question I want to ask Flores before I go to Stocky, who's been waiting patiently because he's put in a great drive. Flores, final question. Where was it most today you struggled in the wet? You were struggling in a lot of places, but it seemed that turn 3 was causing you serious problems. Is that fair to say?
Turn 3, yeah, most of the time, but in the first lap it was my best friend, because I had a great run on Kari, and I did a great overtake. Well, maybe a little bit discussable overtaking.
Yeah, I suppose.
I pushed him a little bit wide.
But Flores, don't worry, because I would have done the same. You have to do it. I will have done the same. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it's I'm just a bit like last week. I'm just a bit disappointed.
Disappointed.
Yeah. I want to win, but yeah, it's another class driving for Kari today. I was hoping for a dry race, because I practiced a lot in dry, also a bit in wet. But I saw Kari's AOR race, and there he also was unstoppable. 11 seconds in front of Arasi, I guess, I thought. So yeah, and he's going to PC, I guess, right now. Kari, you are?
Are you going to PC, Kari?
Yeah, I'm going to PC. only. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm. Okay, wait. I'm going to visit only in AOR.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so ULC will be on PS4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is gonna be a great fight next season then.
Oh yeah, it will be. We can promise you now that there will be a much, not just these two fighting, but we will be doing our very, very best to get the quickest guys from a variety of leagues to try and get not just two guys battling. We want 4 or 5. We want to have more of what we saw tonight.
Absolutely.
You know, tonight was, in my opinion, one of the best races I've ever witnessed. I'm not sure about you, Andy, but for the size of the grid, it was one of the pound for pound, one of the best scraps I've ever seen.
Well, certainly for the size of the grid, it certainly lived beyond its expectations. When you see 12 cars on the grid, you don't expect a race like that. So well done to everyone in the race, and for those watching, they had a treat. It was a good race. Helped a lot by Floris's terrible pace holding up, really add to it as well. It was good. But I think now we have to go to Stocky, who's been sitting there probably sleeping by the performance he put in. Stocky, are you there still? Are you still there? Yeah.
Yeah. You just made me die on Fortnite, mate. That's a tenner you owe me now.
Oh dear. Well done, Stocky. I thought you were brilliant today. I thought that was the performance of the season from the UPL, and a deserved second place right on the line by a nose and no more. Your thoughts on that? It was an epic drive. It really was, and at times today it looked like you could have won it.
Yeah, it was a really good race. I mean, first of all, obviously, congratulations to Kari and unlucky Flores, mate. You've done brilliant all season. You've both been outstanding. But back to this race, it was horrible. So everything happening every single lap. It was very challenging, but yeah, good result in the end. With a very, just hitting this other, me and this guy just hitting each other to the line. It was great. Fair play.
So I've got to ask you this: the next season, Stocky, can you put turn in performances like that every weekend, or do you think it's you're a wet weather specialist? What do you put it down to today, and what's your chances for the future?
I don't know if I'll be here next season. I'm leaving UPL at the end of the season they're doing to focus on AOR. I mean, I've just applied to that, so whether I'm here next season, I don't know, but hopefully I can continue performances like that.
Okay, any questions, Ollie?
Yeah, indeed. Stocky, just from your race alone, there was a few opportunities where you made silly moves. You went round the outside of Floris and locked up and went off. And there was another situation where you was right up there and made think. Do you think he wasn't patient enough? Do you think your inexperience of being that high up with such quick guys maybe cost you a potential win? Because me and Andy were sitting here for quite a while thinking that this race could have well been yours. If you would have got past Floris and got up there, you could have probably walked away with it, because Floris, as he self-proclaimed, has no pace in the wet, but you seemingly was your own worst enemy today.
I was going to say on my screen there was no lockup. Something quite different.
Wasn't it?
But yeah, I mean, there was a couple of times where I was off at the corner, one the fast right, and then turn 1. He defended the inside both occasions, so I wanted to do something, wanted to try something, so I tried it, and on my screen I was just hit off of the track, or whether it was lag or whatever. Doesn't bother me. I still got a good result, so I'm alright. And I understand the situation. It's very tense. He's fighting for a championship, so I expect harsh defending. But yeah, I mean, it was a good race nonetheless.
Okay, so is that it, Ollie? Is that us for questions? Are we all done? Any more questions?
I'm all done.
Well, I'm all done as well. So that wraps up to the Brazilian Grand Prix on a day where we seal a championship. So it's congratulations to Kari. It's congratulations to the SML. They and the Spanish have gone on to glory. They have won the inaugural ULC season on PS4. Be sure to join us again next season. Be joining us next week. I think we're going to Bahrain. I'm not sure if we are now that it's all done and dusted, but I think we are heading to Bahrain next week. So if we are, we will see you 8:30 on Tuesday night next week for yet another scintillating Grand Prix. But yep, congratulations, Kari. Commiserations, Floris. Unlucky to the Dutchman. They'll be fighting hard next season to come charging back. And of course, other leagues, ILR, the SRL and SLR, and so many other leagues that we know can field competitive drivers will be trying to knock the mainland Europeans off their perch. So be sure to join us maybe next week, and perhaps Ollie and all the drivers in the podium interview. We will see you next week in Bahrain.